Tech videos are kind of a weird subgenre of YouTube videos, for being as popular as they are. There's endless channels unboxing, reviewing, comparing an endless stream of smartphones, laptops, headphones, and PC parts, 99% of which the target audience isn't actually going to buy anyway. So why are they so popular? Sure, if you're in the market for a new wearable AI assistant, you're going to want to watch a few videos comparing and reviewing the models you're interested in. But why stick around for a review of next year's model, or even a video on those old clunky smartphones? People obviously enjoy tech videos in their own right, but what are these videos offering that a simple Google search for a spec list can't? Tech videos aren't like film reviews where you can get some unique artistic insight into the subject via the reviewer's unique taste and perspective. True leaps in smartphone technology are also less common now than they were a decade ago, and beyond your personal preference for the design of one phone over another, just looking at a spec list and some benchmarks is going to be a pretty apples-to-apples comparison. But clearly, there's something that keeps people like me watching tech channels, even though I know I'm not going to buy anything they're talking about. Of course, part of it is just that people like shiny new things. No, I don't need the new iWatch Galaxy A70 Pro, but man, doesn't it look so much cooler than last year's model? But I don't think it's just consumerism that keeps people watching new tech videos. Not just, anyway. Tech videos, like any other YouTube genre, still require creativity and personality in presenting their topics. More specifically, I think the best tech channels are the ones that are best at answering the question of why should I, as a regular consumer, care about this new piece of technology? And I think the person who does the best job at answering that question is, unsurprisingly, Mr. Marques Keith Brownlee High Definition himself. MKBHD is inarguably the biggest tech YouTuber on the platform. Part of the reason for his success is obviously his incredibly high production value. I mean, his channel has an entire studio, and his studio has an entire channel. But what I think makes Marques so successful is that he is by far the best at looking beyond the specifics of a given product and communicating to his audience what makes this piece of tech interesting and where it fits within the larger tech landscape. His videos are often part review, part mini essay answering the question of why should I care about this piece of technology. You can see it in his video titles, where he'll generally give a hint at the aspect of the product he'll be highlighting in his review. Take, for example, Marques' review of the ROG Phone 8. The video is less about the individual merits of the phone itself, but on the sacrifices and changes ASUS made to its series of gaming phones to appeal to a broader audience with its 8th entry. In other words, can a gaming phone go mainstream? Marques points out how ASUS toned down the more epic gaming XD design elements of the previous ROG phones for a more mainstream design, while still highlighting that the features that make a phone great at gaming, like a great screen, processor, RAM, also result in just an all-around great phone. In his review of the M2 Max MacBook Pro, of course he talks about how great of a laptop it is, but he also compares it to the previous generation of M1 MacBooks. When Apple switched from Intel to its own in-house designed M series of chips, the performance gains were immense, and a genuine revolution in the laptop space compared to the usual spec bumps we saw before. But the main point of the video is how, with this second generation of Apple Silicon, the performance gains are still there, just not as significant as the transition from Intel to Apple. We're back to bumps. You can really see this approach looking at MKBHD's reviews of the same product line over time, like his videos on the iPhone, going all the way back to the 5S. His early iPhone reviews are pretty standard, but as the innovation with each iteration slowed down, you can see how the focus is less on the quality of each individual Apple release, but on their relationship to other smartphones on the market, and especially other iPhones. Marques' iPhone 8 review is less about the phone itself, but about its weird place within the iPhone lineup, as it was about to be supplanted by the far more interesting iPhone 10. One thing that gets repeated in basically every iPhone review from the 5S onwards is the fact that the specs themselves aren't that impressive, but also the fact that this doesn't really matter given Apple's tight integration between software and hardware on all their devices. The specs also rarely get a big upgrade from one phone to the other, so comparing one iPhone to its last gen model makes it seem like the latest version isn't really worth the upgrade. But in his reviews on the iPhone XR and 13, Marques explains how that might seem like a big deal to us tech nerds who follow the release of each new flagship, but if you're just coming from the iPhone 7 or 8, like a lot of people are, the XR and 13 are going to be meaningful upgrades. And those are the kinds of insights that are going to be useful to regular viewers and keep them coming back for more videos. The tech scene on YouTube can be quite up its own ass, obsessing over and complaining about minor differences between products which the average consumer definitely doesn't need to worry about. So it's good to know that the very flagship of tech YouTubers themselves reach that position not by catering to the biggest tech weebs on Reddit, but to the average consumer, simply asking themselves, why should I care about this new piece of tech? Well, that was fun. I feel like I've said everything I needed to say. But after researching and editing this video, I've watched more tech videos than anyone should want to, at least until the next iPhone mini comes out. So I think it's time for me to disconnect and get back in touch with nature for a while. See you next time.